Hi everyone, and welcome to Wintervale. This is the start of a medieval charter challenge, and this is my first time ever doing one of these, so this should be interesting. I wanted to start off just by introducing some of the characters that I have created. There isn't too much gameplay in this video because I mostly just wanted to introduce them and some of their backstories. First of all, I just wanted to also say I'm going to be starting a little differently than you're supposed to. You're supposed to roll to see like how many family members are part of each family and such, and so I did randomize everything except for the number of family members. I just created 7 couples because I'm kind of imagining that the king wants to create this new settlement, and so the peasants didn't have a choice in going, and the newly married young couples were selected because they would be more likely to produce children who can continue making the king and the kingdom more money. And so that's kind of how I'm playing this, so we're going to be meeting all the couples today. So first here, this is our swineherder, and this is his name is Shaye. And he and his wife are peasants, and they're going to be taking care of the pigs. And they came from a small village back home and just got here on this ship, and everyone came over together, and they're all kind of getting off the ship right now and setting up camp and getting ready to start their new lives here in this new settlement. They've all had to kind of cut off ties with their former family members. And for some of them, that wasn't such a bad thing. This here is Enda, and Enda is going to be a poultry farmer with her husband. And so we'll get to meet him a little bit later. And so yeah, she's here. And then also, yeah, I randomized everyone's skin tones, facial structures, and hair color and aspirations. And so actually, like, half of my Sims are romance aspirations in these starting couples. So, and I also have ACR. So I'm just kind of envisioning that it's going to be very chaotic. Because, if you've played with the ACR mod before, then you'll know what I mean. That they make their own choices, and romance sims especially are prone to making lots of babies with ACR. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. So here's the camp they set up, and this is the ship they came over on, and it's like the end of winter as they're arriving, and so that's why they named their settlement Wintervale. We'll see if they keep this name, or if the later when they get the courthouse, if the nobility elects to change it to something different. And this here is Arthur. Arthur is one of the YEOMEN. So this is the class above peasants, and it's kind of like lower middle class, I would say, is a comparative term. And he is going to be a farmer, and so he and his wife will be in charge of the farm, and they have quite a bit of land to grow grain on, and also some other various crops. And then this sim here, you can kind of tell by the way, by looking at him, he's quite lazy. This is Alexander. He is our squire, and so he is in charge of making more money. And I think I might have him open up a mine. I'm still kind of deciding, so I'm going to be playing the GENTRY class last in my first rotation because I'm still trying to figure out what to do with them. But interesting enough, he and his wife are both romance sims, which to me means they will have an open marriage because with ACR, romance sims don't have jealousy. So that will be kind of I think an interesting little feature to play, is I'm expecting they'll both kind of have other partners. We'll see what they roll, if they roll the ones for it though. Okay, so now we're coming up on another one of our people in the YEOMEN class, and this is Cateline, and she and her husband are going to be the Candlemakers in the settlement. So now we're coming up to Tara, and Tara is one of the Swineherder peasants. So her husband is Shaye. He was the first sim that we met today, and she's looking out over the horizon here and just kind of a little apprehensive, I think, about whether or not this new life, or this brave new world, so to speak, will bring happiness and joy. I think she's a little concerned, and that's why she's looking back from where she came from. And so we'll see how that ends up working out for her. So here we are coming over to our next sim, and now this is another one of the YEOMEN, or the lower middle class. This is Damir, and he's going to be the Candlemaker, along with his wife Cateline, who we just met. And so yeah, they just came over here, and oh, okay, and now this is our royal steward, and if you're thinking that he kind of looks like Goopy Gill's Carbo, you'd be correct. That's Goopy. Now, I have decided to make this role Goopy because the royal steward is essentially an NPC. I mean, you're not supposed to play them, and like in the rotations, they're basically just there to collect the money for the treasury. And so because I have a Mac and I have to deal with the stupid file limit, I didn't want to create a whole new sim when I could just use one of the townies, especially because I tried so hard to get rid of all the townies and the bin families and stuff in my game, and I managed to get rid of most of them. I mean, I at least got rid of like the annoying bin families and the down townies and like the expansion pack townies, but the Pleasant View townies, I just could not figure out how to get rid of them. So, and you know, after like 4 hours of trying to do it and like thinking I finally found the right files, but then they would still be there when I made a new neighborhood, I just gave up. And because it's, you know, I think I'd rather be playing than troubleshooting, and at a certain point, I just think you have to accept your fate with The Sims 2. And you know what? I think Goopy is kind of like a lazy bureaucrat type, and he would enjoy collecting money from peasants. So, yeah, I'm going with him. Now, let's move on to our next sim. So, this is Alessia, and she is looking out over at this new settlement they just landed at. And she's one of the YEOMEN. She's married to Arthur, who we've met earlier, and so she's going to be a farmer along with him, and they are going to be growing lots of crops together, and it should be interesting. And, you know, I think she's hopeful that this will be a nice place. And also, she and her husband are the one of the only couples where neither of them is a romance sim. So, like I mentioned earlier, half my sims are romance sims pretty much. And so it'll be kind of interesting to see if either of them ends up getting involved in like the romance sim ACR chaos, or if they just are faithful to each other. Okay, so here's our next couple. Now, these are the Fishers, and so they come from a fishing village back home, and that's what they're going to be doing here. These are both peasants, of course, and so we have Brylee here, and then her husband is named Gerald. And so Brylee is a very, very pretty sim. As I mentioned earlier, I randomized all their faces using Pooklit's randomization method in Body Shop. And so these are just like the luck of the draw a lot. I think the women turned out very, very pretty, but some of the men are kind of unfortunate looking. And I think, you know, she is very much out of his league, but, you know, maybe she loves his charm and his sense of humor, and I think they seem to get along really well. So, moving over to the crow's nest, we have Violet. Now, Violet is the squire's wife, and she is clearly very adventurous and just wanted to get up as high as she could to survey this new settlement that she's kind of going to be ruling over for the time being. As I mentioned, she and her husband are both romance sims, so I think it'll be interesting to have like a non-monogamous couple in the playthrough, especially because of their positions of power. I think that would give them more leeway to kind of break some of those societal rules, and at least until the nobility get here, then things might change. But yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see how their story plays out. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, and here's someone we haven't met yet. We've met almost everyone. This is Callum, and Callum will be the poultry farmer with his wife Enda. So they will be raising chickens, and that's one of the mods I'm looking forward to using. Now we're coming over to our foragers. This is Oryn, and his wife is right next to him with the red hair. You'll see her in a second, and her name is Ashlynn. And they kind of have an interesting story because Ashlynn used to be a member of a higher born class. She was born into the merchant class, but when she fell in love with Oryn and they eloped, and it was a huge scandal. And so they were living out in the middle of the woods, and they learned how to make a living by foraging. And so that is what they will be doing here. They were randomly selected to populate the settlement, and like the other peasants, they had no choice in the matter. And so that's kind of what they will be doing here. And I think actually both of them are a little bit grateful to be free of the scandal that kind of happened when they got married. So yeah, and this big ship has all the supplies that everyone needs to build their new homes and to start up with some water collecting and such. And the peasants have set up camp out here in the snow. There's lots of strange trees with fruit they've never seen or tasted before, and they'll be kind of gathering that for their first meal. And obviously, the nobles get to sleep, or not the nobles, the gentry get to sleep on the ship along with Goopy, the royal steward, but the peasants will be sleeping on the ground in the snow, and then they will start their new lives here. And so I will be playing each family rotationally. I will be starting with the Forager family, so Oryn and Ashlynn, the last two Sims that we met, and I will play each for one season. It's the last day of winter today, so we'll be starting it in the spring. And yeah, we will see how this goes. Like I said, this is my first time. I do not claim to be a medieval history expert, so don't expect complete historical accuracy. And I'm just here to have fun, basically. So hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.